Question 1. The prophet Elijah was taken up to heaven in a chariot of fire. Answer: true. Reference: 2 Kings 2 verse 11. Explanation: Elijah did not die, but was taken up to heaven in a whirlwind by a chariot of fire, symbolizing his divine calling and God's power. Question 2. The Book of Esther does not mention God by name. Answer: true. Reference: the entire Book of Esther. Explanation: though God is not directly mentioned, his providence is evident throughout the events in the book, which centers on the deliverance of the Jewish people. Question 3. Jonah was the only Old Testament prophet sent to a foreign nation to preach repentance. Answer: true. Reference: Jonah 1 verses 1 to 2. Explanation: Jonah was sent to Nineveh, a city in Assyria, to call the people to repentance, making him unique among Old Testament prophets, who usually preached to Israel or Judah. Question 4. King Saul consulted a medium at En-Gedi. Answer: false. Reference: 1 Samuel 28 verse 7. Explanation: Saul consulted a medium at Endor, not En-Gedi, seeking to contact the spirit of the prophet Samuel. Question 5. The prophet Isaiah named his son Marshal-al-Hashbaz, which means, "Swift is the booty, speedy is the prey." Answer: true. Reference: Isaiah 8 verse 3. Explanation: this name was a prophetic sign indicating the imminent defeat of Israel's enemies, showing God's control over nations. Question 6. The prophet Amos was a shepherd from Tekoa. Answer: true. Reference: Amos 1 verse 1. Explanation: Amos was a shepherd and fig farmer from Tekoa, a village in Judah, who prophesied primarily against the northern kingdom of Israel. Question 7. Deborah was the only female judge mentioned in the Book of Judges. Answer: true. Reference: Judges 4 verse 4. Explanation: Deborah was the only female judge of Israel, and was also a prophetess, leading Israel to victory over the Canaanites. Question 8. The Urim and Thummim were used by the priests for making decisions, especially in determining God's will. Answer: true. Reference: Exodus 28 verse 30. Explanation: the Urim and Thummim were sacred objects used by the high priest to discern God's will, especially in important decisions. Question 9. In the Book of Revelation, the church in Laodicea is described as having a reputation of being alive, but is actually dead. Answer: false. Reference: Revelation 3 verse 1. Explanation: this description actually applies to the church in Sardis, not Laodicea, which was instead described as lukewarm. Question 10. The prophet Zechariah saw a vision of a flying scroll. Answer: true. Reference: Zechariah 5 verses 1 to 2. Explanation: Zechariah's vision of a flying scroll symbolized the judgment of God against sin, with the scroll representing the curse over the land. Question 11. Solomon was anointed king of Israel by the priest Abiathar. Answer: false. Reference: 1 Kings 1 verse 39. Explanation: Solomon was anointed by the priest Zadok, not Abiathar, who had sided with Solomon's rival Adonijah. Question 12. The book of Malachi is the last book in the Old Testament. Answer: true. Reference: Malachi 4. Explanation: Malachi is the final book of the Old Testament, prophesying about the coming of Elijah before the great day of the Lord. Question 13. Jannes and Jambres are mentioned in the Old Testament as magicians who opposed Moses. Answer: false. Reference: 2 Timothy 3 verse 8. Explanation: Jannes and Jambres are mentioned in the New Testament by Paul, not in the Old Testament, as magicians who opposed Moses. Question 14. The prophet Micah foretold that the Messiah would be born in Jerusalem. Answer: false. Reference: Micah 5 verse 2. Explanation: Micah prophesied that the Messiah would be born in Bethlehem, not Jerusalem. Question 15. Rahab hid the Israelite spies on the roof of her house in Jericho. Answer: true. Reference: Joshua 2 verses 1 to 4. Explanation: Rahab hid the spies sent by Joshua on her roof under stalks of flax, aiding in their escape and ensuring her family's safety. Question 16. King David was the one who built the first temple in Jerusalem. Answer: false. Reference: 1 Kings 6 verse 1. Explanation: David's son Solomon built the first temple in Jerusalem. David had the desire, but was not allowed to build it. Question 17. The Apostle Paul was shipwrecked 3 times. Answer: true. Reference: 2 Corinthians 11 verse 25. Explanation: Paul describes enduring 3 shipwrecks during his missionary journeys, showcasing his perseverance in spreading the gospel. Question 18. The prophet Hosea was instructed by God to marry a prostitute as a symbolic act. Answer: true. Reference: Hosea 1 verse 2. Explanation: God commanded Hosea to marry Gomer, a prostitute, as a symbolic act representing Israel's unfaithfulness to God. Question 19. The city of Jericho's walls fell after the Israelites marched around them once a day for 7 days. Answer: false. Reference: Joshua 6 verses 3 to 4. Explanation: The Israelites marched around Jericho once a day for 6 days, and on the 7th day, they marched around 7 times before the walls fell. Question 20. The Hebrew term Messiah means anointed one. Answer: true. Reference: the term Messiah. Explanation: the Hebrew word Messiah means anointed one, referring to one who is consecrated by God, often used for kings and priests. Question 21. The last king of Judah before the Babylonian exile was Jehoiakim. Answer: false. Reference: 2 Kings 24 verses 18 to 20. Explanation: The last king of Judah before the exile was Zedekiah, not Jehoiakim. Zedekiah was captured and blinded by the Babylonians.